As y'all know, the Mind Your Business podcast here on episode 69 is come to you and powered by the Binge Podcast Network. The Binge Podcast Network with my great partner, Dominic Lawson of Owls LLC and the Startup Life Podcast. We're bringing a diverse myriad of podcasters to your forefront. So look out for us on the Binge, onabinge.com. That's onabinge.com is the website. Look for us, man, where we've got a nice lineup of great podcasters coming to y'all. Man, I'm excited about that, man. Dominic's been putting in a whole lot of work. I've been putting in a whole lot of work. We've got podcasters sending us stuff left and right that we're reviewing and listening to shows and things like that. But that's what we got going is the Binge Podcast Network. So make sure that y'all check that out on onabinge.com. Of course, always brought to you by Brooks Brothers Consulting, started by my brother and I, Philip, in June of 2013. And one of the big things we're working with right now is small business owners getting ready for 2019. So if you're getting up ready for 2019, you're trying to develop your sales strategy in terms of how you're going to acquire and retain customers, you need to give us a call and have us added to your team. That's brooksbrothersconsulting.com. You can call us 901-808-3801. That's 901-808-3801. And you can give us a call. So we're, again, episode number 69, the Mind Your Business podcast. Man, I've had a wild morning. I've been running all over the place. I think I lost 10 pounds. But smile, we're here. Let's turn up the music.
What we do here is go back.
All right. So, listen, we had to keep that kind of short because we're getting in here now. Friday, what's today? November the 9th, 2018. I'm your host, Champ Ron. This is the Minding Your Business podcast. So glad to have you all here on today. If it sounds like I'm a little out of breath or a little scrambling a little bit right now, it's because I've been literally running for the last 40 minutes. That's why I'm way late in recording the podcast. I was telling the Facebook Live audience, shout out to everybody that's on Facebook Live. I was telling them that, man, I broke the cord on my microphone. Then they started renovating the office that I normally sometimes do the podcast out of. They were supposed to wait until after Thanksgiving, but contractor wanted to go ahead and get started today. So that threw me off. And then on top of all of that, I go over to the hub. And, of course, everybody done found out about the hub now, which sometimes where I record from. And so everybody done found out about it now. And so everybody was in there. Like, literally everybody and their mama was inside the hub. It was a great place there at High Point Church and whatnot. And I was a good ways away from Slice of Soul Pizza. So the best thing I could do was come home. Where I know I can have some peace and quiet, but then of course the dog's going crazy. Y'all know my dog Boss, so he's going crazy and nuts, and so I have to come. Of all places, I'm up here, the quietest place I could find, which is my unfinished closet upstairs by the bonus room. So that's where I'm at. Hopefully the audio is coming in really good and whatnot, and I've got my Facebook Live folks here in the house. So what's up to everybody? I'm trying to get everything set here. Let's see. All right. I'm going to make this do what it can do because I'm a little discombobulated on today, but nonetheless, we're going to keep doing that. And this is what being a business owner and entrepreneurship is all about. There's nothing pretty. There's no editing. You can't edit life. In real life, you got to make it do what it do. Is that right, Justice? What's going on? My guy Justice Bolden doing his thing. But so today's episode is really interesting. And I know there's been a whole lot going on this week. I'm not going to get into everything. Y'all have heard enough people talk about midterm elections and politics and blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, there was another, mass killing this week and all that. But anyway, we You know what I mean? There's enough people talking about that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to give you a different level of content. It's kind of like the Joker. I'm going to be a different level of criminal. So just like the Joker in the Dark Knight movie, I'm a different level of criminal. So anyway, I want to bring on my special guest, which is Mr. Maurice Woods. Maurice is the owner and founder of the On Channel, and I've had a chance to check it out here in the last 24 to 48 hours, and he and I had a really good conversation on yesterday. And so, Maurice, I want to bring you on, my brother. If you're out there, let's see if I can bring on Maurice. Let's see. It's always the thing with Facebook Live. You got to try to search everybody out, and everybody don't always pull up when you want them to pull up and whatnot. So let's see. Maurice. Let's get you on, my brother. Let's see. This is going to be Mr. Maurice Woods. The On Channel. And you know, one of the interesting things about that, man, and I'm going to share with him, get his opinion on, there's so many people cutting the cord on cable and things like that from a personal and a professional standpoint, man. That's phenomenal. And it's very interesting. All right, so here he is. The man, the myth, the legend.
Let me just adjust this.
Yeah, there you go. Get yourself settled.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, so my guest is Mr. Maurice Woods.
How's it going, Ron?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Hey, I got a little bit of feedback on. Yeah, I got a little bit of feedback, but we're going to try to make that work.
That sounding better now?
Not much, but I'm hearing myself in the feedback. But yeah, no, it's all good. We're gonna make it work. Yeah, so Maurice, you know, with the On Channel, let's go back a little bit. All right, so you came up. You grew up on the East Coast or the West Coast?
I'm in New York, baby, born in the Bronx.
There you go. There you go, Bronx representative. All right. So, you know, tell us about how you came up, man, in the Bronx. You know, you grew up, you're doing your thing. You know, tell us what was up.
You know, the Bronx is, Castle Hill in the Bronx specifically was a great place to grow up. You know, it was kind of like one of those communities where we were from the projects, but you felt like you were in a small town where everybody knew everybody. You know, everybody went to the same elementary schools. We all went to the same sleepaway camps. You know, and you spent a lot of time together. And you just do have two brothers, a sister, and we just grew up like everybody else grew up. You know, you try to survive, you do what you do, and you just make the most out of every situation you have.
There you go. Yeah, definitely. So talk to us about, too, so you're coming through school, you get to a point where you select your profession. From, you know, my understanding is you spend a little bit of time, man, kind of on the downside of life. Talk to us a little bit about that, because a lot of business owners can relate to that, having to live a little bit on the downside and not really sure where your next opportunity is coming from.
You know, I would say my careers, because they've been careers, have found me. You know, when I was 18, well, even before 18, 16, I started my own business. I was selling greeting cards. I'm an artist. That's what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to go up to different companies. That was my dream, to be out there drawing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and the X-Men, and doing things like that. But I started off drawing these little greeting cards, and I would have the neighborhood guys, my friends and stuff, go and sell them door to door. And they would do that, they'd come back, and I'd pay them a commission. And I was like 15 and 16, 17. At 18, I started working for a magazine company called Starlight Press, where I worked with the people that ran Black Beat and Spice, Super Posters magazine, and All Black Elegance magazine, all those. And I was the art guy. I was designing pages, making the magazine look good. And one day, they had closed down Black Beat. And I knew why lost money because, the company that had it didn't understand us. And it was a black music magazine, a black teen music magazine at that. So I remember going and telling my mother, I'm going to take over this magazine. And she laughed at me, like everybody did, because they were like, how are you going to do that? You're not even qualified. And I'm like, if I want to take it over, I'm going to find a way to get it. And I remember my mother telling me, if you do, you're going to get fired. You can't. And I sat for a day, and I said, you know what, maybe she's right. And 24 hours after that, I walked in the office with proposals that I want to take over the magazine.
Wow.
And chief of Black Beat magazine. And I also became editor-in-chief of Spice Postal magazine, which was R&B, rap magazine at the time. Everybody do that. That was my introduction to the world of the entertainment world anyway. But through the years, I've done a lot of things. I mean, I've owned record labels. I was A&M Records. I've worked for Law and some editing, script editing on there. But there was a time in my life that I did lose everything. I mean, my identity was stolen. A lot of things went bad, and I found myself homeless. And I'm not ashamed to even talk about that. I literally lived on the street. I slept on the subway. I slept in Port Authority. I even stayed at a shelter for a while. Never let the situation control you.
Yeah. And so, how did you? So take us back to that day. So you're living in the subway. You're on the streets. What was your lowest point, Maurice? And then what inside you allowed you to rise up from that situation?
The thing about it is, I never let it take me to that place. I knew where I was, but it didn't stop me from doing some of the things. I was still going to meetings. I was still trying to find a way to move forward. And then I went into the shelter and I sat back and said, you know what? Let me take a moment to reassess.
Yeah.
Let me reorganize and let me redirect and find out what I'm doing. Not just spinning my wheels just to get out of the situation, but spinning my wheels to go in the right direction. And so when I figured that out, I followed that plan, and I got out of there. And I used everything I was doing to build from there. And since I've written books, not on that topic, but novels and things like that as well. But like I said, that time didn't take to the low because I didn't allow myself to believe that it was a bad thing. I always found the positive in it and said that this is a vacation. I don't have to worry about anything, but just being. And while I'm being, think. Use this time to think.
Yeah.
Plan. Where your life is, what you want your life to be. And that's what I made the most of, And a lot of guys who they didn't understand that, but they would sit there and go, oh, go ahead. When I was in the shelter, I started volunteering cooking, and I was sleeping there. So I was in the kitchen cooking for everybody and doing everything else. I still go back to the shelter and cook. But it allowed me to, I kept on thinking that I'm here, I'm going to earn my worth. And when I'm earning my worth, it's going to keep me being who I am. And that allowed me to be a person who just realizes that I'm in this position and there's nothing I can do.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes all the sense in the world.
I even hire some people who, like I said, I still go back to the shelters. Like I go visit, I go sit and talk to people. But I even hire some of the people who I was in the shelter with to work at the company. And they work with me, and I have them go on film shoots, and they work the cameras. I talk about work the cameras. I talk about how to do certain things in the business, so to give them the opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Something like that, and not bring people with you. I can't anyway.
Yeah. Well, that I commend you for that, because a lot of people, when they get to where they achieve, they have some level of success and things like that, they don't reach back. And so it speaks highly of your character, personally and professionally, when you're willing to go back and reach back to those brothers and sisters that are still struggling even today, and you can recognize where they've been and know where they've been and be able to come back from that. So, man, that's definitely what's up.
And you're where they're at, and you see that for yourself. How do you not try to do something for those who want to do something for themselves?
Right.
I guarantee you, they will always be there because they want to just go from shelter to shelter to shelter because they don't want
Yeah.
And so many out there who are just there. And they're regular people with regular lives and want to do things.
Yeah.
You know, launching the On Channel. The On Channel to me was a way to give a lot of opportunities to a lot of people. You know, and why not give them some too?
Yeah. Yeah. So with the On Channel, tell us about it. So how did they come about?
The coming of the On Channel is an interesting story. It starts off way back when Oprah first launched OWN, and I kept on saying to myself, I want a TV station. I want a TV station. How do I get a TV station? You know, but I always thought, I'm not Oprah. I don't have the Oprah money. I can't do it. And I just gave up on it, and I went on to life. When, I don't know if you know the soap opera, All My Children and One Life to Live.
Mm-hmm.
Very popular. And when they were canceled, they were presented to Oprah, and Oprah didn't. And at that time, no disrespect to Oprah, I love Oprah to death, but I always thought it was crazy that she had a station that really had nothing on it but Gail sitting in a chair just talking. And, you know,
right.
And I'm like, if you brought on All My Children, One Life to Live, you would have 10 million, roughly, people who would be loyal to your channel from the door.
Right.
And I'm like, how do you turn that down? You don't have anything. And you're about to crash. You're going bankrupt. You're losing money right and left. And that made me think about it again. If I had a channel, what would I have done? And that started the process of putting this whole together. I think the name OWN even was kind of like an homage to OWN in a way. You know, it was kind of like it popped in my head, and I'm like, this would be perfect for it. But it made me plan and try to figure out how to do it. Like when I first launched, it was just a GoDaddy website page with a YouTube video in the middle.
Right.
You know, it was hard, but I used that as a way to first let people know that I'm here. And I slowly built it up, and then slowly built the technology to where it is. I'm like, if I'm going to go all in, you know, I've always lived by a rule, perception, reality. When I was homeless, I showered every day. I wore a suit pretty much every day, or I dressed up nice, or wore shoes. Because the perception was that I was in this place even when I wasn't.
Right.
And that goes on anything with business too. You know, with the On Channel, perception's reality. People couldn't look at a YouTube link, GoDaddy website. We had to be on par with Netflix and Hulu and all these guys. So we had to look that way. And as we started looking that way, we started to build that technology to have what they have. And for me, I had mentioned to you that, it was important to me that our stories were not being told.
Yes.
We had to change the narrative. We had to show different versions of ourselves. And in doing that, I didn't want to create a black station. I didn't want to do something just to be a black station. You have BET, you have the Urban Movie Channel, you have those kind of things that's what they do, more power to them. Especially right now, when we're talking about, I think we didn't want to talk about going into the mid-election and everything else. The one thing that anybody learns anything is that diversity is important.
Yes.
You see all the women, all the LGBT, all the Hispanics, all the different people who won seats because people are looking for something different. There's always going to be those people looking for the same old thing, but there's someone looking for something different. The On Channel was designed to be a diverse channel that not only showed various and different versions of ourselves, but also told other people's stories so that those people would come and see themselves represented and also see us represented.
Right.
That's the way it works. And that was important to me. We have Rachel's here. We have City Boy, which is, pretty much all the people from Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta is in that series. But we also have Man Babies, which is a very funny show, that one of our most popular shows. We have movies. We have films. We have shorts. We have talk shows. We have podcasts. We have audio books. We have comedies. We have dramas. We have horror films. We have kid shows. We have like 5 or 6. We have a kids traveling show. A girl who has 9 years old. She has a sneakers company.
Yeah.
And she invested. She has a show. We have a girl who travels the world and she shares her experiences. We have the Kids Zone, which is kind of like the Mickey Mouse Club, but today, with a very diverse cast. And it's just there's a lot that we're trying to bring to the table. We're trying to do something different, something special.
Yeah. Well, and Maurice, you talked about in the very beginning, you had a GoDaddy site and a YouTube video. And a lot of business owners don't understand. I get some business owners that come to me, they want to have it all right at the jump.
You can't. I tell people all the time, the biggest way to lose your business in the beginning is to start too big and spend too much, because you put yourself out of business. You can never catch up to the amount of money you put out. I knew, especially since I didn't even start with a lot of money. I started pulling money from different places that I had stashed. I didn't even know I had stashed.
Right.
But, instead of finding things out when you really need it. But, I realized that everything had to be steps. Baby, I use this quote all the time, and it comes from Batman. I know you're a superhero guy.
I am.
I understand. But Alfred said to Batman, "Why do we fall?" And the answer was to learn how to get up. And with everything, you have to learn how to do things in baby steps.
Yeah.
So we started with the Daddy video. Then we found a little place that allows us to do a loop. So we had like 8 shows on a loop, and you ran in a circle, and you never knew when it was going to be on, but hey, you just turned on whatever you caught. And then we graduated to, like I said, to technology now. We're on par with Netflix. We're on par with Hulu. When you turn on the on channel, we're on all mobile apps. We're on all platforms: Apple TV, Fire Stick, Chromecast, Android TV, Google Play, Apple Store. You name it, we're there. And we're also online. And the quality of our content is as strong as theirs, except as they're telling us, we're the most diverse and we are the fastest growing out there as it is.
Yeah, definitely. And my guest today is Maurice Woods of the On Channel, and I know that my audio is not that good because I'm getting a lot of feedback on the Facebook Live. I'm good on the podcast piece, but my Facebook somehow is the audio is not that good. So going back to Maurice's point, hey, we'll get there. I'm coming behind Maurice, and I follow that same principle of starting where you are and getting there. So definitely. So Maurice, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was saying, one of the hardest things for people to realize is that sometimes they turn away from business because they don't think they can, because they don't think they have enough to do it. And you're just at it. Start where you are, and then slowly build from there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how big the steps are. They can be very tiny baby steps, or they can be leaps, or you can just be Superman and just fly.
Right.
You never know. We flew. We really only launched in January, even though last September all the pieces were being put together. Our real launch was in January, and we are like so far beyond where I expected to be by this point that I can't even explain.
Yeah. Yeah, so Maurice, with the On Channel, I read an article yesterday in the USA Today that said that 1.1 million people in the third quarter cut the cord on cable and got rid of that satellite dish and went to streaming service. Why do you think, it may be obvious, but why do you think that is? And where do you see the future of streaming service?
Cable's expensive. That's the bottom line. Cable, satellite, all these things, they're expensive. And they're all done, you go to any station, any channel, Stars, ABC, Fox, CBS, and the one thing you'll notice is you'll see the same logos over and over again at the end of the shows.
Right.
It's just a small group of products using the same kind of product, and people are tired of it. People want something different. They want something that represents them. They want to see themselves. They want stories that are told by other people, and they're looking for it in places. Netflix started it with, hey, here's some shows that you're not going to find on TV. So people love that. But even people are getting tired of Netflix. Their show is the same old stuff. There's so much content out there that never gets a chance to be seen, which is one of the reasons why we exist. Because people want to see these streamers. They want to see the movies that, not everybody can go to the movie festivals all over the world and see these films that are being presented there. Just like a lot of the people who create these things, they do the festivals, and when the festival's over, they win awards, they shake hands, they mingle, and then they go borrow money from Uncle Bob to continue doing what they do.
Right.
Because because of not because of the quality, but because of the criteria. sometimes these stations and these channels and these studios, they want things to be a certain length. They want things to be all SAG. They want things to be a certain way, so they just don't even look at them and they turn them away. But yet, there's all this content, award-winning content by amazing creators who, in their own right, should be superstars. And it's floating around and nobody sees it. But there's an audience in the public, a large percentage, that they want to see that.
Right.
They don't want to pay those same people rich. They want to enrich these people who are creating amazing content. They want to enrich these people who are bringing together this content so they can see it. They want to be entertained by something different. Not the same old thing. And that's the same old story. We don't want to see ourselves as pimps and loving hip-hop people and drug dealers and what do you call it all the time. We want to see those stories where we're just people. A group of, someone running a company, someone, doing this different versions. You want to see it. And the only way to do that is get rid of that paycheck, that tab, and pay for these little stations and pay for streaming services to see more variety. And when you want to. I mean, today, most people work like 8-5 jobs just to survive. They can't come home at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock to watch what you want them to watch at that time.
Right.
They want to see what they and this gives them a chance to watch whatever they want to watch when they want to watch it.
Yeah. And so, with people disconnecting, where do you see the future of streaming and the future of the on-channel? They were suggesting that 33 million people by 2021 were going to cut the cable and get rid of the satellite dish. So that proves a great opportunity for you. So where do you see this thing going over the next, say, 5-10 years?
People call us the true alternative to Netflix. They say the on-channel is the place you want to go when you get tired of seeing what everybody's already seen. You really want to go someplace and chill and watch something, then chill to your on-channel. We're going at a rate that's remarkable to me. We're truly up there and getting up there, with the urban movie network, and even DC just launched the DC Universe and everything else, and we're getting up to a place where we're as known as they are.
Yeah.
We have different variety of shows. Like I said, because we're growing, we have, like I said, the most diverse collection of shows and series, movies, films, talk shows, podcasts, all these things that anybody out there. And we're still growing. We're always adding content. We're always growing. I'm hoping that there'll be a time that we would be on the same stage as those other stations and maybe even surpass them, because we're doing things differently than what they're doing.
Yeah.
To me, the sky's the limit. So we can go and we can bring as much entertainment to the audience as we possibly can.
Yeah, definitely. And so, Maurice, how do you find content and how do you find content creators for the channel?
When I first started, I used to hound YouTube. I would be all over YouTube. I got a deal for you. Let's make a deal. Come on. And I now just start looking on Kickstarter. I would start looking in different places. Now a lot of shows come to me. They start coming, they submit and say, how do we get on the channel? We heard about it. I love the fact that people are hearing about it at the point where they're like, hey, you know what? They're partnering with festivals now where those who are chosen get to have their show on. Those that win, some shows will be produced by us going into 2019 and 2020. We're producing a lot of other shows other than our own content. We have 9 original shows, series being created by the On Channel, for next year.
Yeah.
Because one thing I learned is that you have to have original content. Not just like we have series. Like we have a couple of original series that are that people said we had to be here. But then we have shows that that maybe on this platform, maybe on another platform, whatever. We have to maintain a lot of stories that we want to tell.
Yeah.
So creating that content, is important. By the end of 2019, I want to be at least 24% original product, but always bringing in these other premium content, these other films, these other series, and they watch different shows. Around here, I can always see them on my chart what people are doing, and they come and they stay, and the average about 4 hours. They'll watch like 7 shows, or they'll binge watch a whole series, or they'll binge watch 2 series before they leave, and then they come back. We're lucky. We've maintained roughly, I would say probably 5% of people who signed on to ARM has canceled subscription. Netflix can't.
Right.
When you look at the audience, people who come, they stay. Those who have signed up in the beginning are still with us.
Yeah.
Those that signed up for the 7-day free trial, stay and continue.
Mm-hmm.
We don't lose at that point. If we do, we lose 1, or we lose 2, 3, or 4. And that's it. Everybody else signs and they stay. Watch. There's always something new coming on. And right now, because of the holiday season, we're adding a lot of shows.
Yeah.
We're adding a lot of shows for people. Because a lot of people will be traveling. They're going to be on the bus, on the train. They can pull out their phone, pull out their mobile app, and click on the on channel and watch whatever they want to watch. And that's a beautiful thing. Watch teenagers. Watch Civil War. Watch the Pride Walk, our reality franchise that starts on the 26th of November, which is the first of its kind. It's an LGBT series about women, couples, and their lives. It's the Pride Walk in Dallas. And, that's going to be a franchise for the franchise of Pride Wives from New York, Pride Wives in California, Pride Wives Atlanta, Florida, wherever. That's a big deal. That was another thing when I talk about diversity. Besides having creators from all walks of life, the LGBT audience has been neglected. They had that one channel, and I don't even think they even posted that stuff. And they've been saying that we need someplace, and we need someplace where we're blended with everybody else, not where we categorize and we have to be this. So we have a section where we have 6 or 7 amazing shows that fit that audience, but we also have to categorize for them so that if they want to find it, and we also have them blended in with our regular series. So someone who may not even want to see that may see it and find it interesting and watch it. That's important.
Right.
We're one people, and we're not. Everybody's story should be told. It shouldn't have to be as isolated.
Yeah, definitely. So Maurice Woods with the On Channel is my guest. I apologize to, again, those of you that are on Facebook Live. The audio is not the best on my end. I think they can hear you just fine, Maurice, but for some reason the audio on Facebook Live is not good. So I've had a time getting all this together today anyway. So it's been one of those days, but we keep doing it. We're just going to keep doing it. So,
You gotta do what you do.
yeah. So, Maurice, compare the cost of, because I think it's very interesting for people to understand, because you spoke about cable and satellite being expensive. So, compare the cost of the On Channel to, say, DirecTV or Comcast or Time Warner or somewhere like that.
There's no comparison. I mean, you know what those things cost. I mean, you're getting Verizon, you're getting these other companies, and you're paying hundreds of dollars to watch, the same old thing over and over again. Even if you drop down to Netflix and those guys, you're talking $15 to watch. We're $3.99 a month, to watch everything you want. It's not like Amazon Prime, you go on, you spend $3 to watch one movie, then you're done. You come on and you pay $3.99 a month. You can watch anything you want, as often as you want, over again. It's important to me that we were not expensive, that anybody could watch us too. It doesn't really hurt our bottom line because enough people watch that it keeps us growing and it keeps us building, and that's the beautiful thing. And the more people do that, the more thing we can talk to certain sponsors, certain shows.
Right.
Certain shows that get sponsored. We have music videos, shows that get sponsored. Get Live Radio, GetLiveRadio.com has a video show on the On Channel. We have Natural Sessions, which is a talk show, as well as other talk shows. And those shows, they get their sponsors, and they come in because of our viewership and the strength of who we're reaching. We're available in almost like 300 million homes, if you really say so. All you gotta do is download all the apps. Almost everybody has a cell phone,
Right.
Apple, Android. You got that, hit that, and you're watching a lot of great watching those. Fire Stick and Apple TV and all those platforms make it that realizing that more people have those. out, and that's how we grow.
Yeah.
You know, if you get away from what they're offering on cable, get away from that expensive bill, and sometimes it gets so overbearing. I know a lot of people who had to cut their cable just because they couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like, everybody around got nothing to watch, your kids have nothing to watch, and they can't do anything. You know, it's expensive, but they want to be able to have access to things too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So how can people get on, man? Is the On channel? How can they get on?
On channel, you gotta get on the On channel, man. I tell you, like I said, we're on all mobile apps, Android, Apple. You know, we're on Amazon, Google, Fire Stick, Apple TV. But if you sign up online at theonchannel.com, very important, you can win an Apple device. You can win Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Roku, even iPhone X. We're giving away hundreds of them to people who sign up online. And even though you sign up online, you can watch on any platform. So you go to onchannel.com and you subscribe there, and then download the mobile app while you're on the screen. You can watch it on the mobile app. If you cut off in the middle on the mobile app, you can go home and watch it on your Apple TV or your Fire Stick. Or you can watch it online, and it just continues exactly where you left off. It's totally across platforms and apps. So you don't sign up on one, it doesn't go watch on anything.
Yeah.
You know, but if you sign up online, you get a chance to win a whole lot of stuff. We're giving away a lot of things.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I encourage everybody to jump on and subscribe, man. Definitely.
Subscribe. Come on, the more people, the more you get to watch the entertainment, the more entertainment we can bring into you. Sign up at theonchannel.com. You can't go wrong. And like I said, you can watch on any platform you have, on any app, but sign up online.
Yeah.
You know, and enjoy the content.
Yep, definitely. And when we get done, we're going to make sure we post the link and everything in this Facebook live feed so that people can go directly to it and go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to go and do that as well. So, definitely. So Maurice, as we kind of wrap up, what are one or two best practices you would give to somebody that's in business, whether they're looking to start business, they've been in business 100 years? You know, what are one or two kind of best practice nuggets you'd like to share?
One, listen to your customers. Listen to them. Don't disrespect them. Even if you don't like what they have to say, listen and learn. People tend not to listen sometimes. It's very important. Start small. Don't be afraid to start small and build up and build up. It doesn't matter if you're a big corporation. If you want to get bigger, take those little steps so that you can do that. Plan before you do it. You know, don't just rush ahead and lose everything.
Yeah.
You know, stay focused. Know what you want, and make sure it's something that you truly want to do. You know, I think that's very. You know, I love telling stories. I've always loved telling stories, be it in comic book form, which comic books is what made me want to tell stories to begin with. But from that to writing books to making movies, which I've made movies. I make movies too. I'm a filmmaker. To being able to bring stories to people. I love this. That's why I do it. That's why when I was homeless on the street and the need to think of what I wanted to do, I knew I wanted to do this. I go back in time and I know when I was younger, I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to do this. You know, make sure you do what you want to do, because if you start something that you don't want to do just to make money, it's most likely to crash.
Yeah.
And you know, so that's it. Do what you love. Baby steps don't hurt. Just keep on moving forward. As long as you're moving forward, you can't go wrong. And listen to what people say of customers more so. Criticism is good.
Yes.
Not bad.
Yep, I love it. Yep, I love it.
Membership, I always ask them, can you tell me why so we can get better?
Yes. Yep, definitely.
If it needs to be adjusted, I adjust it.
Yeah, there you go. You got to have thick skin in the game. That's for sure. Definitely.
Absolutely. If you don't have thick skin, you're done already.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and people around you will say it's not going to happen. Your skin has to be dinosaur thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So my guest today is Maurice Woods with the On Channel. That's onchannel.com, where you need to go. TheOnChannel.com.
TheOnChannel.com. Sign up there, and you can watch on the mobile app. You can watch on Fire Stick and the Apple TVs, the Chromecast, and the Android TVs, and you can watch across platforms. We are on the same level as Hulu and Netflix. We have content that you've never seen that you're going to love. Check us out. I mean, you can't go wrong. I guarantee you'll be entertained.
Yeah, definitely. Maurice, man, listen, thank you, brother. I appreciate you taking time out to join us on the Minding Your Business podcast. And me and you are going to talk very soon. Yep.
Look forward to it. It's a great way of educating people on what they really need to start thinking about. But I appreciate the time. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maurice. I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, that was Maurice Woods with the On Channel. Let's see. I'm not sure if did he fall off? I'm not sure. I want him to go ahead and go off, but for some reason, like I said, I've had major trouble today, y'all, man, on the Facebook live feed. But it's all good, man. I appreciate Maurice jumping on here. There we go. So now I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Somebody. Okay, so it says now it sounds perfect. Thank you, Claude. So I guess I wasn't sure if that was on my end or if it was my connection with Maurice that was throwing my audio off. It may have been. So it may have been both of us combined. May have been just him. May have been me. So I apologize to those of you on the Facebook live feed. You can definitely check out the podcast when it's released here shortly. And then you all can hear the audio hopefully a little bit better than you just heard it on Facebook live. But Maurice gave some really good nuggets, y'all, in terms of, not only his background and his story, but, the streaming business is big. If those of you that are in media, you've heard me talk about with the podcast and the podcast network, and I'll be having some discussions with Maurice around, connecting the podcast and possibly even the podcast network in with the On Channel, because we've got to be able to control our narrative, right? And he mentioned about diverse content. See, it's not just about being black or white or this and that. There's diversity among being black. There's diversity among being white. Whatever it is, there's diversity among us all. We're not within our groups just so homogenous. And that's how TV has normally always been. And so it's great, and we should support people in particularly in the tech field like that are expanding our ability to tell our own stories and tell them the way we want to tell them. And so that's what the podcast is for. That's what the streaming network is. So I encourage you all, theonchannel.com, get with Maurice, subscribe, cut the cable on all the other junk with those other stations and things like that. And he's got some of that same content along with some diverse content. And if you're a content creator, you should reach out to Maurice. That's what I hope y'all would gather, those of you here on the podcast and Minding Your Business Nation. I would hope that you all would connect with Maurice if you're a content creator, because as you heard, he's looking for people with great content. What a great platform for people to get on with the On Channel. So, but thank y'all so much. Lawrence Thompson said, "You sound like a robot." Yeah, that's good then. That's definitely good. Claude said, "Practice makes perfect." Yeah. So yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. Like you say, so much with the audio, but the good thing is we got an opportunity to get it right next time. So if y'all know anything about the Minding Your Business podcast, and this is no knock against anybody else that does this, there's nothing Hollywood with what we do. I do this with very few devices and that sort of thing. I don't edit. And I should. I'm really too lazy to do it because I stay too busy doing other things. But I don't edit because in real life you don't get a chance to edit. When you're up doing public speaking, do you get a chance to stop when you say something or say too many uhs or whatever? You don't get a chance to stop and rewind and take that out so you can sound perfect, right? Yeah, when you're doing a proposal with somebody, you're doing things in business, you get one shot, maybe a backup shot, maybe a second shot, but you normally get one shot. So you got to you learn to improvise and make it do what it do, like I've had to do today, even when things aren't on the perfect plane. So it's great to be able to edit, man. I commend people that can do it and sit for 2-3 hours and edit the show. I don't have that kind of time. Let me say this, I don't make that kind of time. In terms of editing, I should at some stages so I can have things sound a certain way. But I've always had the philosophy, man, that I want it to be as authentic and as raw as possible, because those of you that are listening to the podcast or on Facebook Live, that's how you are. You're in the stage of your business where it's kind of raw. Things ain't gonna be. There's no Hollywood LeBron James, thing to your business, And so that's what this podcast represents. So I won't always sound great. I won't always have the best dialect and sound and things like that. But one thing I'm always going to be is real and authentic. And not to say that people that edit aren't as well, because they certainly are. But that's just my approach. That's just my style. So, yeah, Maurice, yeah, man, I'm going to sound like a robot today. Zane, what up? What's going on, man? How you doing? But I hope y'all enjoyed Maurice on today. Make sure you check him out. And he spoke about diversity and things like that. And I talked about this on a Facebook Live video this morning. But for those of you that, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see me. But if you're black, on each side of your hand is a different color, right? And this is what I'm in the podcast with. So this part of your hand is white, just like white people. And then you black on the other side, brown on the other side. No matter what happens to your hand on either side of it, though, it hurts, right? If you take a knife and stab the white side of it, it's going to hurt, just like if you stab the black side. If I swing back and I slap you with the white side of my hand, I can backhand you with the black side. And I'm going to do some damage either way. Right, so we're all the same. There's not many degrees of separation between us all, other than culture and where we come up and things like that. But we all have the same pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. And so we've got to do that. And creating our own narrative with our media helps us bring the images that we're more than just the things that Maurice said that a lot of times TV and media tries to make all of us out to be. No matter how you look, we all get pigeonholed into these boxes and things like that when it comes to media. So don't fall into that trap, and make sure that you support content creators, right? You've got several of them that are here on the Facebook Live feed. Lawrence has his show. I've talked about Dominic's show. I've talked about the shows and content that we're building on the Binge podcast network. Many of you are great content creators. You're photographers, you're videographers. You make great Facebook posts. You do great flyers and images and things like that. You're great at public speaking. You're great at connecting people collaboratively. You're great at what you do, and you're looking to get better at what you do. But, embrace the diversity, and let's embrace these new streaming services, particularly when they're owned by those of us at the grassroots level. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign off of here because it's time for us to kind of get our weekend started. Thank y'all so much for your listening ear, even with my technical difficulties and being extremely late on today. Of course, y'all wouldn't know it if I told you, but I'm going to tell you because, again, I'm going to be authentic. And so today didn't go the way that I wanted to go from my end, but I'm glad that Maurice was able to help me out with some great content and things like that. So I'll look to be better on next week with episode 70. We're at the 70th episode of the Minding Your Business podcast, which is unbelievable. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe, listen, and share on all the podcast platforms that are out there: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Go wherever that you prefer to go. Make sure you catch this, share it with people, and share it with me your feedback. Inbox me or email me at ron@themybpodcast.com. That's ron at THEMYB, mother, yellow, brown, MYB, podcast.com. And make sure you connect with me. Gerald Jones just joined with the Bob Black podcast. Always happy to have him on. Great friend of the podcast and supporter as well. And you make sure that you guys check out the Bob Black podcast by Gerald Jones. He's got a mobile app out there, so you can get that. As well as go to the website and catch him on Facebook Live. He's really stepped his Facebook Live game up. Which is phenomenal to see, man. And so shout out to Gerald Jones with the Bob Black podcast. So listen, I'm out of here. Champ Ron, this was episode 69, the Minding Your Business podcast. Again, thank y'all so much and have a great weekend. And we're going to keep doing it, make it do what it do. So y'all have a good one.